What are some of the most entitled parents you have ever seen? I witnessed my second wild Karen encounter today. In Hong Kong right now, the virus isn't that bad, so we can still go out, but wearing a mask is strongly encouraged. Some places require it. So today my friends and I decided to go eat ramen at a restaurant in the city. Just me, my friend and another friend. Restaurants closed down seats for social distancing, so there are less seats available. Now this ramen restaurant is not very big, so there are only a few seats available. So here's the cast. M. Entitled mother op. Me F. Friend W. Waiter M. Manager. So we are just minding our own business when this group of 6 walks into the restaurant. There are only a few seats available, so the waiter informs them that they have to wait for the tables to clear up before they can be seated because seats are closed for social distancing. M. What do you mean I have to wait? W. Because of COVID-19, we closed seats for social distancing. M. Oh, okay. Why don't you seat us there? She says, pointing to a table with a sign clearly stating closed for social distancing. W. As I said, they are closed. B. M. Oh, it's fine. Just seat us there. We don't have the virus. W. I'm sorry, I can't do that. That's. M. I'm sorry, I'm not asking you to seat us there. I'm telling you to. So please do so now. W. If you wait 20. M. Come on. My ankles are starving. She says this as she points to her family consisted of toddlers whining about having to eat ramen. W. We can seat some of you over at the bar if you guys don't need to eat as a group. Without even thanking him, she marches her family over to the bar and rips off the signs to make space for her kids. W. I'm sorry, I can't have you do that. M. I can do whatever I want. I'm the customer. W. I'm sorry, but if you can't respect our rules you must leave. M. Lem talk to you manager. The waiter scoffs and goes to get the manager, who is one of the chefs. M. What seems to be the problem? M. Your rude waiter refused to let me sit at a table, so I had to sit here. M. I'm sorry, but you can't sit here. There are signs stating that these seats your kids are sitting on are closed for social distancing. M. I don't care. I want to eat with my family. They are starving. M. I understand, but if you can't respect these rules, I'm gonna have to call the police. M. No. I'm a loyal customer and have been for a month and I deserve better service. M. If you wait, we can seat you over there. He gestures to our table. M. Okay. How long is the wait? M. 20 minuets. M gasps, then walks over to us. M. You guys gotta go. Op. What? M. You heard me. Leave. You and your friends need to leave because you guys have been here too long. Op. We're not done yet. M. Don't talk back to your elders. M. If you don't leave now, I'm gonna call the police for harassing my customers. Realizing now that she can get in really big trouble, she and her entitled family leave. I ended up getting the meal on the house, but still, some people can still be entitled during an epidemic. Anyway, hope you enjoyed. This happened about 2 months ago before all this COVID-19 lockdown. To give some more preface, a long time ago I got an old hand-me-down jacket from my uncle who happened to work in the prison system. This jacket happened to have a Dodge Federal Bureau of Prisons logo on it. I've worn it many times and it's always garnered some interesting reactions from people. I just so happened to be wearing this jacket for our encounter with the entitled mother. Now, onto the story. Me and my fiance went out to grab a bite to eat on a Saturday evening. As we ordered and sat at our table, we decided to play with our Nintendo Switch, which apparently is M8, while we waited for our food. After a few minutes, I had to go and use the bathroom. About a few minutes after I left, according to my fiance, some lady, the entitled mother of the story, came up to our table and had her child, the entitled kid, sit down in my chair, which prompted this exchange. M. Excuse me? Did you mind watching my kid? There's no kids play area here, and I saw that you had a Switch for him to play. Eck, what games do you have on your Switch? Do you have Fortnite? M. Asterisk, starting to walk away. Have fun. Fiance, putting the Switch inside her bag. Ma'am, I'm sorry, but I didn't agree to watch your kid. He's your responsibility. Also, I don't trust people I don't know with my Switch. Eck, but my mom said I can play with your Switch. Asterisk to my fiance, hey now. Don't be like that. It's hard being a single mom. Plus you obviously have the means to entertain my child, so why not help me out? Fiance, like I said, I'm not responsible for your child. I didn't even invite him to sit here. Please leave. Now you listen to me. I know the owner here. I will have you thrown out if you don't watch my child. As the M is yelling this, I happen to be walking out of the bathroom towards the table where my fiance was. As I'm walking up, the M sees me coming and notices the Dodge logo on my jacket. A smirk crossed her face, and as I got to the table, asterisk TOME asterisk, now you look like someone in law enforcement. This rude lady here is refusing to give my little angel her Switch to play with after she promised to do so. Me, asterisk cutting her off, and with a stern voice, is there a reason you're harassing my fiancée and trying to take the Switch I bought for her? I watched as the M smirk give way to a look that said OSH asterisk T. She quickly grabbed her child and made a beeline to her table. The M didn't bother us afterwards outside of a few stolen glances. We got our food, ate it and left after finishing our meal. I was glad I picked that day to wear my uncle's old raincoat. I used to work as a custodian at a zoo, and as you can imagine, the zoo is like a meeting grounds for entitled parents. We have this one restaurant in the zoo where the washrooms are out back. They're not directly in the restaurant, but since they're still part of the building, they're hooked up to the same fire alarms as the restaurant. On one particularly busy day, the fire alarm started going off. As I was evacuating people, one lady pushed her way against the herd and into the washroom. I recognized her as someone who had been waiting near the end of the washroom line before the fire alarm went off. I kindly explained that the fire alarm was going off and everybody had to be evacuated from the building. She ignored me and proceeded to plop her baby down on the changing table. Very casually, as though she didn't have a care in the world, she slowly took off the baby's clothes and diaper while trying to sing over top of the blaring alarm. She continued to blatantly ignore everything I said to her, so during this time I called in for backup. It was at that point when her baby started wailing from the loud noises. As soon as the baby started crying, the lady immediately whipped around and demanded that I turn that alarm off. Can't you see it's distressing my daughter? To which I told her hell no in the politest way possible. Leaving her daughter crying on the table with a full open diaper, she tried to get into an argument with me about how it's ridiculous. The alarm shouldn't be this loud. And why is there a fire alarm in a bathroom anyway? And my personal favorite, you shouldn't have loud alarms in places with a lot of babies and little children. It can damage their hearing. Eventually security arrived and removed her from the washroom. Since she spent more time arguing with me over the alarm than tending to her daughter, she ended up having to strap the dirty diaper back up and carry her daughter out. While she was putting the diaper back on the baby, she innocently told security that she couldn't change her daughter and get out fast enough because I was bothering her, and that her daughter is probably going to get a diaper rash because of me. I hope she's disabled her fire alarms at home. Don't want to damage her precious daughter's hearing. Not me, but a distant cousin of mine. I, being bored out of my mind these days, called my cousin, 25 male, to check in to see how he was doing, and he gladly told me a story that happened to him about a week ago. He works at an animal hospital. Some are still open, unlike what you may think. Anyways, as for detailing his job, he told me that company policy during the coronavirus is that they can do exams in an owner's car for contagious illnesses like kennel cough or the doggy flu. For more experimental, as in, attempting to diagnose something they can't see from the get-go, they would allow the owner to stay in the car while they work on their pet in the hospital, or in dire situations, such as a put down, they allow the owner to come in with them, but not just anyone. From what I collected, they don't want any cross-contaminating, both in terms of pets, with the illnesses they are being treated for, and the families, in case of the corona, themselves. Here's the cast of our story. MC, my cousin. Karen, a typical Karen. Do I really need to explain more? A. Karen's entitled husband. S. Karen's spoiled son. Karen's spoiled daughter. A whole family of entitled people. I know. Doctor, the doctor that he works under. C1, my cousin's coworker. Receptionist. It's a perfectly normal Tuesday morning. MC gets to his job early because doctor requested that my cousin gets there early to help her out with something. That matter is resolved pretty quickly and my cousin starts to go about the rest of my day. While my cousin does love his job, he often talks about how it shatters his heart to see animals in pain, and especially so to have to see a family go through a put down. Anyway, at about 10:15, a family who pulls in to drop off their dog to be treated. C, a sweet lady about 9 to 10 years older than him walks out to see who it is and what the issue is. Q, the instantly annoyed Karen. C begins to talk as Karen rolls down the window. Good morning ma'am, how can I help? Karen, my dog is sick and he needs to be treated. Now. C, that's what we're here for. Can you please explain? Karen, he needs to be treated. I don't want him to die, and if you don't treat him he will die. C, ma'am, I'm very sorry your dog is sick, but I need you to explain the ice. Karen, visibly angry, starts to talk over her again. C1, talking over the Karen, silencing her for the minute. I can't help your dog if you don't tell me what's wrong with him. Karen, well, he's been whimpering all day today and yesterday, and he won't go outside. You're the ones who are supposed to be treating him. How am I supposed to know? C1, wanting to stop talking to this grumpy lady. Thanks for the information. I'll come to take your dog inside with me, and you can wait in the car. Where is your dog now? KH, he's in the trunk in his kennel. C1, goes to unload the dog, then returns to the window for an obligatory question. Is there anything else you want me to know before I bring him inside? Karen, yes. We want to go inside with him. C1, I'm afraid that will not be possible. Karen, gasps. Are you trying to tell me that I can't come in with my dog? I'll tell all my friends that you all are animal abusers if you won't let me and my precious children in. Then I can keep an eye on you. C1 begins to cave. I'll go talk with Drive. C1 talks with Doctor, then returns. C1, Doctor says you may stay in the waiting area as long as you do not make a ruckus. Karen, I knew it. Then I can make sure you're not touching my dog. C1 goes inside, family in tow. The family takes a seat and C1 takes their dog back. Keep in mind, none of this has happened to my cousin. He told me that he was originally a bit confused when they are sitting there, but when told that doctor gave the okay, he doesn't push farther. Everything is fine for about 25 minutes or so. Then they start to get impatient. My cousin told me that the animal hospital wait times are long and are now even longer with the presence of coronavirus. Karen goes up to the counter to talk to the receptionist. Karen, snotty, excuse me, what's taking so long? I'm sorry, your dog is in the process of being treated and this may take several hours until they are finished with him. Karen, well, why don't they hurry up? Because we take our job seriously and they don't want to rush treatment so that your dog can return to normal. Karen, we have places to be. You may leave if you want. We will give you a call when we are done. Karen, no. You are all animal abusers and I will not leave until I know that my dog is safe. At this point, the receptionist isn't willing to fight the fight any longer, and to her relief, Karen goes back to her family and sits down with a huff. This series of complaints isn't even the end of the story. Far from it. It gets worse, but the story gets better in a way, I guess. They've been sitting there, waiting for about an hour before the kids start getting restless, and are running around the waiting area uncontrolled by their mom, strictly against what the doctor previously said, which makes my cousin upset when he sees them, after coming out of a room, to deliver another patient their dog. When these little shits see the dog, being the spoiled brats they are, they both beg to pet the dog. My cousin says no, as it's against company policy to allow anyone but hospital staff and the pet's owner to touch the pet in the hospital. They begin to cry and they run and tell their mom. Immediately my cousin knows that now he has to deal with the Karen and most likely her husband, so he prepares himself for the barrage of the entitled parents questions. As expected, after hearing her kids' complaints, She stomps over to my cousin and starts shrieking at him, and soon her husband joins in. Karen, excuse me? MC, yes? Karen, why won't you let my kids touch that dog? They'll be really gentle, and they deserve it for having to sit around for you slowpokes and animal abusers. MC, I'm sorry, but it's against company policy to allow people from outside hospital staff and the owner of the dog to touch him. Karen, not unexpectedly, throws a hissy fit. Karen, if you don't let my kids pet that dog right now, I'm calling the cops on you, and I will tell them that you all have been abusing animals. MC, this dog just had major intestinal surgery to get something removed from his colon. He's very tired and will get upset if provoked. KH, in a douchy voice, can't you just let them eat it? It's not a big deal. MC, it is a big deal. If you pet it, it might bite you or your children. Karen, then why are you taking care of it? It should be put down if it's biting little children. I should call animal control to tell them to put it down because you animal abusers taught him to bite. At this point, my cousin feels his blood boiling and he wanted to slap her in the face at her utter stupidity. Thankfully, at that exact moment, doctor comes and rescues him from Karen and her husband and manages to cool them down, while my cousin brings the dog outside to his waiting owners. You would think that this would be it, but no. It takes a huge downward spiral from here. About 30 minutes afterward, the Karen's family is still waiting. Their total wait time totals about an hour and 45 minutes at this point. Another family rushes in with their dog. Their dog is obviously very old and frail, and while the family is hoping for the best, she is probably going to need to be put down. These are the dire circumstances that my cousin told me to mention before. The hospital lets the family in and they, unfortunately, must put the dog down. The other family, obviously, is deeply saddened by this, but the father allows us to go through with it. He says that he doesn't want her in pain anymore, and my cousin, although upset to see the family in anguish, agrees. After about 10 minutes after all is said and done, the family comes out crying. My cousin comes out of the room, holding a wooden box with their dead dog inside as they had requested to bury it on their property, so that they still could feel a sense of closeness to their dog. He is walking towards the door when he locks eyes with Karen. Big mistake. Karen goes completely off the rails. She notices my cousin carrying the box and rushes quickly to stop him from following in the tracks where the other family, grieving, has just exited. MC, excuse me, ma'am, I need to get through. Karen, I'm not going to move through unless you tell me what is in that box. Chimes in, ma'am, what is in that box must be given to other family immediately. Please move. Angered by the fact that she isn't getting her way, this bitch immediately starts pestering MC with questions, asking why my cousin and the hospital been rude to her family this whole time, asking if there was animal abuser stuff, sick, in that box, asking if her dog is in there, and why we're kidnapping him. Those were some of the many outlandish questions she was asking my cousin. MC, losing his patience at this bitch. Ma'am, you really need to move. This must be delivered to other family so that they may leave. Karen, screeching like a banshee, I will not leave. You need to show me the box or else I'm calling the cops. MC, absolutely fed up with it, talking loudly now. It's not my obligation to show you something that another patient needs. Company policy requires us to keep the personal info of our clients secret. And Karen blows her top. Her husband, who was standing next to MC, but he hadn't noticed, grabs the box from my cousin's hands. Now it's my cousin's turn to get mad. MC, that is private property. Give it back to me, or I'll call the cops on you. Karen, smug now, that won't happen. I'll show them all of the tools that you use to abuse poor animals, and you'll be locked up, and it'll be so funny to see the look on your face when my husband opens this. Her husband then slams the box down on the floor, sending the box into splinters and the dead dog on full display. Karen, screeching, I knew it. You are all vile, I'm calling the cops on you right now. At this point, everyone else has come out to see what is going on. Karen and her husband are apprehended, and the receptionist ends up calling the police, who eventually come. Karen is screaming like a banshee the whole time. Karen, these people are animal abusers. They are killing animals. Just look at this dead dog. MC, and basically all his coworkers are telling the police the true story of events. They handcuff Karen and her husband and haul them off to a cruiser, while the kids are given to the care of a social worker, and they are left. Since that only happened a little over a week or so, I don't know what happened, but my cousin, and I hope that Karen gets jail time. She fucking deserved it. Just think about that poor family who had to suffer through their dog dying, only for some entitled bitch to come in and ruin it even more.